Hey guys, Tyler here, and thank you for checking out this video. And it's hard to believe another expansion is upon us, so that means I have another Marksman Hunter guide. This time it's for 10.0 in the pre-patch here for Dragonflight. So in this video, we're going to have some opportunities to look at what a build would look like for a Dragonflight Marksman Hunter and get a lot of good practice in during this pre-patch period. So we'll be checking out the changes from Shadowlands and into the pre-patch, as well as how Covenant builds are going to switch and why you probably want to play a Necrolord Marksman Hunter for the next month, as well as the talents and talent builds for both single target and AoE, and the stat and ability priorities that come with that. So, let's get started.
Mr. Eggplant presents.
So thank you guys for checking out this video and supporting me here on the channel. It's hard to believe we're yet again at another expansion. And be sure and join my Discord. There is a link found in the description down below, and that way you can see these videos before they go live on YouTube, as I do my best to try to share them with my community there first. And also, this video is only going to be good for the pre-patch, so keep that in mind. And any changes, since this is kind of a living, breathing guide, if you will be found in the description or down in the pinned comments. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. So there are some changes here in the pre-patch that you're going to want to know before you dive into Azeroth on your Marksman Hunter. So unless you've been living under a rock, for example, you'll know that talent trees are now coming back. So we have a hunter-specific talent tree, and then also a specific tree to marksmanship or beast mastery or survival, whatever you are playing. So a lot of our main abilities are going to be found in the tree, so we're going to have to pick and choose what we want based on the content and based on our group comp and what they need out of us as a marksman hunter. Covenant abilities are still a thing, and covenants and conduits are still a thing as well. However, they only work in Shadowlands areas, and that is the same for legendaries. So if you are wearing a legendary outside of the Shadowlands, it's like you don't even have an item in that slot, so you might want to buy something to just have on your character when you need it. And then also, there is no more tier sets, so that does mean that legendary choices are going to change if you're still wanting to do raid and still do Mythic Plus, for example, since RIP to Unblinking Vigil and its synergy with our 2 and 4 set. But those are the main changes. Other than that, we are getting some more abilities back into our kit that were specific to just survival or beast mastery as well, like Intimidation, for example, or even Steel Trap or Hydra's Bite as one of our main points at the very end of the Hunter tree. And I also did mention that I would suggest playing a Necrolord Marksman Hunter here in the pre-patch, because one of the main abilities that you get as a Necrolord Marksman Hunter is going to be Death Chakram. So you're going to be able to get that in Shadowlands experiences, while also being able to put points in other talents to get a better feel for what the build is going to look like as we get closer to level 70. So my builds today will reflect that, and that way you get the most out of your pre-patch time, since this is the perfect opportunity to go ahead and learn Necrolord playstyles, and then learn how to play around both having Death Chakram, maybe even Poison Injection, and then later on Unerring Vision and Readiness, and even Salvo. So now that we've looked at the changes, let's go ahead and look at some Covenant builds for your Marksman Hunter here in the pre-patch. And we're going to go ahead and start off with Necrolord. I know Necrolord is an unpopular pick, but I've been championing this since Season 2, and I've had so much fun, and this particular build works perfectly for both AoE and single target. So you're going to want to bind with Bonesmith Heirmir and pick Forgeborn Reveries, then Deadly Chain if you're in an AoE situation, or you want to go ahead and pick Powerful Precision if you are in a single target situation, then Resourceful Fleshcrafting, follow that up by a Finesse Conduit of your choosing. I choose either Reversal of Fortune or Cheetah's Vigor, then Runeforged Spurs, followed up by Condensed Atmosphere, then Heirmir's Arsenal Marrow Gemstone, and then Sharpshooters Focus, Carver's Eye, Resilience of the Hunter, and then finally Mnemonic Equipment. And if you want to play a Kyrian Marksman Hunter in the pre-patch, you're still going to want to Soulbind with Forge Light Prime Mechanicos. There are a couple of different changes for single target and AoE, but they're going to look something like this. So you'll first pick Bronze Call to Action, and then you'll pick Enfeebled Mark, followed by Forge Light Filter. Then you pick one Finesse Conduit, and like all of the others, I would pick whatever one you prefer, either Reversal of Fortune or Cheetah's Vigor. Then Regenerating Materials, and then your first Endurance Conduit. Here I've picked Condensed Atmosphere. And if you're doing an AoE build, then you go straight down for Marksman's Advantage, Hammer of Genesis, then Deadly Chain, followed up by Soul Glow Spectrometer, another Endurance Conduit, this one going to be Resilience of the Hunter, and Effusive Anima Accelerator. And then if you're doing a single target, you'll come back up here, then you'll pick your Endurance Conduit, and then go Sharpshooters Focus as a potency, then Soul Steel Clamps, and then come down here. Instead of using Deadly Chain, then you'll come down here and you'll pick Powerful Precision. And if you are still wanting to play a Night Fae Marksman Hunter, you do have a couple of options, and this is still probably going to be the best for single target. So if you can stand still and get away with it for long periods of time, then Dreamweaver will be your best bet. Otherwise, you'll want to pick Naya for heavy movement fights. So for Naya, you'll want to pick Grove Invigoration, then Spirit Attunement, then Run Without Tiring. Then you can pick any finesse conduit. I choose Cheetah's Vigor or Reversal of Fortune. Then you can pick either Nature Splendor or Swift Patrol, then Condensed Atmosphere, Sharpshooter's Focus, Naya's Tools, Poison, then Powerful Precision if you're doing single target, or if you're doing AoE, you want to pick Deadly Chain, then Called Shot, followed up by Marksman's Advantage, and then finally Bonded Hearts. And then for Dreamweaver, you want to pick Pod Tender, then one of your Endurance Conduits, so I prefer Marksman's Advantage, then Spirit Attunement, then Soothing Voice, and then like I said for both Naya and for Dreamweaver, if you're doing single target, you want to pick Powerful Precision, and in AoE, you want to pick Deadly Chain, then Condensed Atmosphere, Somnambulist, then Field of Blossoms, then Sharpshooter's Focus, Walking Dreams, Cheetah's Vigor, and then finally Dream Delver. Now let's go ahead and check out the brand new talent trees that are going to be live here on the pre-patch for Dragonflight. So there's going to be a Hunter half, and then there's also going to be a Marksmanship specific half. So this is what a single target build would look like with a couple of options for you. And like I said, I am going to be playing a Necrolord Marksman Hunter as much as possible. That way I get the most out of this time to learn the rotation, learn the build. That way I can have Death Chakram down here without having to put points in it. But by all means, you can go ahead and run with Death Chakram and play a Night Fae Marksman Hunter, for example. And in fact, here in the PTR for the pre-patch, this is actually proccing every time it bounces, which it bounces 7 times even on a single target encounter. It's proccing your Wild Spirit 7 times, so it could be a very strong ability. So you could do Death Chakram while you're using your Wild Spirits, but keep in mind, my whole purpose of the pre-patch is to learn the rotation and learn the spec that we're going to be playing in Dragonflight. So anyway, I digress. So points for the Hunter tree would be you automatically get Kill Shot, yay. So you get 1 point in Improved Kill Shot, 2 points in Post Haste, then 2 points in Natural Mending, 1 point in Counter Shot, 1 point in Survival of the Fittest, 1 point in Misdirection, and then 1 point in Tar Trap. And I went ahead and put another point up here in Concussive Shot since I needed 1 more point to continue on down the tree. So then 2 points in Born to be Wild, 1 in either Lone Survivor or Nature's Endurance, and my Survival of the Fittest is already used to being a 3-minute cooldown, so I went ahead and opted to just make it a stronger 3-minute cooldown. But you could pick either of those, then either Scatter Shot or Binding Shot, but keep in mind we do have a lot of dots now, we have a lot of bleeds, and Scatter Shot does remove bleeds even whether it's PvP or PvE. So because of that, I'm picking Binding Shot, then 2 points in Rejuvenation. I'm putting 1 point in Camouflage just because I have to spend 1 more to continue down the tree. So you could easily put a point up here in Trank Shot or a point in Entrapment if you'd like to have a root on your Tar Trap. Then 2 points in Pathfinding. I know movement speed is not a sexy pick, it's not glamorous, but it does move us down the tree, and you'll find out that movement speed is very important on your Marksman Hunter here in Dragonflight. Then 1 point in Hunter's Avoidance, and then 2 points in Master Marksman. After that, you'll notice I have 4 points left to spend. So that is what I said earlier. If you're wanting to try to get the most damage out of your Marksman Hunter for single target in the pre-patch and not learn what we're going to be doing in Dragonflight, you're going to want to put 2 points in Keen Eyesight, 1 point in Death Chakram, and then 1 point in Master Marksman. That way, you can proc all that bonus damage, all that Wild Spirits damage thanks to Death Chakram. Otherwise, if you are like myself trying to get the most out of this learning experience, I would put 1 point in Keen Eyesight, 1 point in Arctic Bola, and then 1 point in Serpent Sting and 1 point in Poison Injection. Since Poison Injection is going to be one of the better talents to choose from for your Marksman Hunter for single target in Dragonflight, because a build would look something like Poison Injection, and then Death Chakram, and then maybe even Steel Trap. And And then looking over here at the Marksman specific side of the tree, you put 1 point in aim shot, then 1 point in crack shot, 1 in improved steady shot, 2 points in precise shot, since precise shots in your arcane / multi shots are going to be so strong and so important to your overall damage once we get our tier set in the first season of Dragonflight. Then I always come over here and do rapid fire, and to augment rapid fire next, I'll put 1 point in rapid fire, 2 points in streamline, and then 1 point in surging shots. And then I come over here and I do 1 point in death blow, which is half of our flayed shot ability that you have as a Venthyr marksman hunter currently in Shadowlands. Then we can come back over here, 1 point in lone wolf, 1 point in hunter's knowledge, which this is a flex pick, you could put that elsewhere, or killer accuracy for example, and then 2 points in careful aim, 1 point in target practice, 2 points in focused aim, 1 point in double tap, 2 points in steady focus, and then now we finally unlock the very bottom of the tree, so 1 point in true shot, 2 points in Eagle Talents True Focus, which is a legendary currently here in Shadowlands, and then also Unerring Vision to round out the build. And you can also pick calling the shots, but keep in mind, if you are a Night Fae Marksman Hunter, you do not want to pick calling the shots because you want your true shot to always line up with your wild spirits. It would be counterintuitive to pick calling the shots, and in fact, now that I'm talking about it out loud, playing a single target Night Fae Marksman Hunter with Death Chakram proccing all of those bonus Wild Spirit procs, as well as Unerring Vision during that entire thing, that's going to be a seriously crazy build, and I might have to give it a shot when I'm not trying to learn the spec. And then the last point, you can either put in Wailing Arrow or Lock and Load. I currently have my bow, so I don't really want to double dip in Wailing Arrow, so I'm going to go ahead and put that last point in Lock and Load. And then as for an AoE or a Mythic Plus build for your Marksman Hunter here in the pre-patch, it would look something like this, and there are, much like with single target, a couple of different options to choose from. So on the Hunter side, a lot of these are going to be the same, so improved kill shot, then post haste, counter shot, natural mending, survival of the fittest, misdirection, then tar trap. You'll put 1 point in entrapment, just nice to have that bonus route. And then you'll pick again one of these, either lone survivor or nature's endurance. Put points in born to be wild, camouflage, rejuvenating wind, and then pick either binding shot or scatter shot. 1 point in hunter's avoidance, then 2 points in pathfinding, or you can put those points over here in sentinel owl with perception or protection. And then this is where you get to make a couple of choices. Oh, by the way, you will also put your 2 points in Master of Marksman. Those are a given. So you again have 4 points to spend. If you are a Necrolord Marksman Hunter, you are already going to have Salvo giving you an explosive shot. You're also going to have your Covenant Legendary giving you an explosive shot. So you could have 3 explosive shots if you wanted to. Or you could try to go ahead and pick up your poison injection and run with Serpent Stalker's Trickery. That's what I'm probably going to do on my Necrolord Marksman Hunter for this pre-patch period. That way I just get the most out of it, and you will still be running with poison injection or maybe even Hydra's Bite. That was something that would work quite nicely in AoE as well. I'm just trying to find an AoE build that's going to do well for both single target and for AoE, for Fortified and for Tyrannical weeks. That is usually my goal, to find a lazy build. So this is really a choice pick for you. I'm going to go ahead and take points out of Explosive Shot and out of Arctic Bola and put a point in Serpent Sting in either Hydra's Bite or Poison Injection. And then that does give me 1 point, and then I could put it in Keen Eyesight or Bola. Bola has more damage, is more throughput, so I'll go ahead and do it there. But you could easily take those points out once again. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. And then put 1 point in Keen Eyesight and then 1 point in Death Chakram. And then you could choose either 1 point in Serrated Shots, 1 in Arctic Bola, or 1 in Serpent Sting. I have Serpent Stalker's Trickery over here, and that's also a flex pick over there. So I would pick either Arctic Bola or Serrated Shots. That is really your choice. The bleeds that we're going to be seeing in our build much later on in the expansion proper of Dragonflight, Serrated Shots is going to be one of the best abilities you're going to see. So you could go ahead and put a point there. So I'm going to do that for the sake of the video. And then let's go ahead and look over at the Marksman side of the tree. And like I said, there are a lot of flex picks because we don't have full point values yet. So we are missing those valuable points from 60 to 70 that are really going to make these builds work. So looking ahead over here at the Marksman side for an AoE build, it's going to be pretty much the same all the way down to the rapid fire streamline picks. And then you'll notice I didn't pick Surging Shots. It's very strong, but it will be the legendary that I'm running with. So there's no reason to have double Surging Shots because it won't actually work. So I'll take that point out of there and move it elsewhere along the tree. I put 2 points in Careful Aim, 1 point in Death Blow, 1 point in Target Practice, and then 2 points in Focused Aim. Now let's move down here to our one lone capstone pick. So we do have to put points into multi-shot and to be able to get trick shots, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is, and I don't think they're going to end up changing that. So 1 point in multi-shot, 1 point in trick shots, 1 point in volley, and then you can pick either heavy ammo or light ammo. Heavy ammo just received a heavy nerf by like 60%. So I would pick light ammo in almost all situations. And then Bulletstorm. Bulletstorm isn't amazing right now in the pre-patch, but it is going to be a go-to pick once you get your tier in Dragonflight. So I would definitely test this out while you are playing in the pre-patch. And then Salvo. And Salvo is going to be the capstone pick for AoE, and it is the second half of the explosive ammunition from Necrolords. So instead of it being proccing on your Death Chakram, it's proccing on your first multi-shot or your first volley every 45 seconds. And then we have a couple of points left to spend, so we'll come back over here. We'll put 1 point in Double Tap. I chose to put 1 point in Serpent Stalker's Trickery, but you could easily put that in Lock and Load or Razor Fragments. And then you'll want to make sure and round out your build by putting 1 point in True Shot, and then I've chosen to pick the last point and put that in Eagle's Talon True Focus. And now looking at Legendaries really fast, so keep in mind, Legendaries only work in the Shadowlands, so if you leave the Shadowlands, do some mount farming, go to Orgrimmar, that sort of thing, they will not work. So for single target, you want to run with Unity, and then also Serpent Stalker's Trickery. I know it's been like since Season 1 since we used Serpent Stalker's Trickery. And then for AoE, you want to run with Unity, and then Surging Shots. Now this section is going to be combined, talking really quick about the weak auras and then also your stat priority for your Marksman Hunter here in the pre-patch. So as for weak auras, if you guys would join my Discord, I know I plugged it earlier, but there is a link down in the description. If you go to the left side of the screen, there'll be an add-ons and weak aura section, and there'll be a text document that you guys can download freely that I will continually update all Dragonflight long. It'll have all the weak auras that you need for your hunter, for all of the buffs that you need to track, and then it'll also already be set up for your tier piece once you get your 2 and 4 set. And then as for the stat priority for the pre-patch, first it's going to be weapon DPS, then agility, which is of course our main stat, followed by crit, and I would say no more than 30% since we get so much crit baked into our build. And if you are still going to be playing a Kyrian Marksman Hunter, definitely no more than 30%. Then I would go mastery, followed up by haste, and then finally versatility. And then also on all of these secondary stats, at least for level 60, the diminishing return is 1050. So if you don't want to get DR'd on any of your secondary stats, make sure you keep them below 1050, and that's the actual rating, not the percent. And this last section is going to be all about the rotation priority for you on your Marksman Hunter here in the pre-patch of Dragonflight. So looking at a single target rotation priority, it would look something like this. So make sure that you're using your kill shot on cooldown, and then also make sure you're keeping your steady focused buff up at all times by using your steady shots in pairs. And I try to shoot for at least 90% uptime. 80 to 90% is usually a good number to shoot for, and you can use details to track that buff if you're trying to get better at it. Then make sure you're using double tap on cooldown, and if the target is above 70% health, use it on aim shot. If it's below 70% health, use it on rapid fire. Then also make sure that you're using your Covenant ability on cooldown, but if you are a Night Fae Marksman Hunter, always use Wild Spirits and True Shots together. There's such great synergy there. Of course, if you're not playing a Night Fae Marksman Hunter, use your True Shot on cooldown, and then use aim shots, making sure that you're avoiding capping on charges. That is the best way to lower your damage, by letting your aim shot cap. Then use your rapid fire on cooldown, and then use all of your precise shot procs. Make sure that those empowered bonus damage attacks, whether that be multi-shot or arcane shot, or maybe even chimera shot if you're running with that ability. Make sure that you're using those, because those are going to be a lot of damage once you get into Dragonflight, because they work really well with your tier set for the first tier of rating. And then finally, just make sure that you're using your steady shot as needed for focus regeneration. Last but not least, let's go ahead and take a look at a Mythic Plus or an AoE rotation priority for you on your Marksman Hunter. So number one, make sure that you're using Explosive Shot on cooldown, and the more enemies around, the better. I try to have at least 3 targets around when I use my Explosive Shot. Then use double tap, of course, when you have trick shots, and use the double tap on aimed if the target's above 70, or on rapid if it's below 70, and that is of course if you are taking careful aim. I'm going to be using careful aim for single target and for Mythic Plus, so that just keep that in mind. If you are not someone who's using careful aim, you probably just want to double tap rapid fire all the time. Then use your Covenant ability on cooldown, whatever that may be, and then like for single target, if you are playing a Night Fae Marksman Hunter, use Wild Spirits and True Shot together. Then you'll want to use your True Shot with any racials, pots, trinkets, anything like that in that one big macro. Use Volley on cooldown and try to couple that with other abilities. So make sure that you have other abilities ready to go before you use your Volley. Then use your aim shot, of course, just like for single target. Don't cap on charges. Then multi-shot to make sure that you have trick shots and to use those empowered precise shot procs as well. Then use rapid fire on cooldown, multi-shot to dump focus if need be, use kill shot if there are less than 3 targets, but if you are running with razor fragments in your talent tree, that would go up to priority number 3, so I would do it even before your Covenant ability. And then finally, if you need focus regeneration, be sure and use your steady shot. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I did a big oopsie and I decided to wait until the very last moment to make this video. So I guess that means I have the most current information. I guess that's a good way to do that. But I hope you guys will consider subscribing if you haven't already, and be sure and follow me over at Twitch at twitch.tv/MrEggplant. Thank you guys so much for helping me get over 5,000 subscribers. In fact, I doubled my subscriber count during Shadowlands. I cannot wait to continue to grow and hang out with all you guys all over the world. Thank you guys for making YouTube the best hobby. I look forward to chatting with you down in the comments. If you don't agree with something, that's awesome. Let me know what you're going to be doing in the pre-patch. Who knows, maybe somebody has the same question you do as well. So thank you guys for watching. Best of luck in Dragonflight, and I'll see you there.